This is the Variety Sports Network, created for the fans, by the fans. Now to your host of tonight's show.
Yeah, welcome to Talking the Gridiron here, Week 9 edition here. We got a big show on tap for you. There's a lot to get into. We're middle of the season here. We got two Bengals guys on here, Johnsons. We got to definitely get into Bengals.
Hootie!
Yep, there it is. We'll get a little Falcons talking here. I got to get John out of here from Out of Your Falcon Bite here. We'll get into that. We'll touch a little, obviously, on my Raiders as well. We won't leave them out of the party as well. We always got to celebrate a win, and we'll beat up the Giants, of course, for my guy CP in New York there that comments in once in a while. But with that said, Clutch Studio here, brought to you by Row One Brand. Look forward to that question of the week. Appreciate my guys that have already retweeted stuff going into the show. Jimmy Pilato, good to have you back, my friend. How we doing?
You know, I'm coming off of quite a long road trip. Went from Minnesota all the way back, Colorado to Minnesota from Thursday night, and then Minnesota back to Colorado. Thankfully, I was smart. I took days off of school. I have a sub for today and tomorrow, so got to relax a little bit, get some chores done. Basically, missed out on a weekend, so I'm making up for that. Good thing. I mean, I didn't know what I was going to think about Sunday Ticket moving to YouTube TV, and then it happened. I have it, and I'm telling you, it's the best thing that I think I've ever done. It's my favorite part of being an NFL fan because, oh my goodness, I got to watch the Bengals on Sunday Night Football. I was driving through middle of nowhere, like basically in between borderlands of Nebraska and Colorado. I was watching the Bengals game on Sunday Night Football. So overall, very good. This is the part of the season where I enjoy. I wish I could enjoy the early part of the season, but they can't have anything nice.
And you do it. We had Sour Jimmy the first few weeks of the season. We're all right with that on Talking the Gridiron. But now he's got a little pep in the step. I like that. Jordan, good to have you back on the show here. Another edition of Talking the Gridiron here. Glad that you could join us again here. A little later here. You got the hour. You guys do the time zone thing there out in Cincinnati too, right? Or no? That's all.
Yeah, we went back an hour, and I'm feeling it today because usually it's 10:54, and I'm laying in bed, but it's 9:54, and we're here to rock it. So
let's go right then. Let's rock right away here. We're talking the Gridiron. I was like, we got two Bengals fans here. Jimmy's here from the get-go. Let's get right into it. I have it. I don't care. It's Sunday night. It's the game of the day. I was looking forward to this game the most. Bills at Cincinnati. Burrow just looks fantastic. I mean, what a performance. Even that one, like, there was a scramble. I want to say the second quarter, he escaped. They even called it was an offensive penalty, but so the Bengals even had to go back. But I was like, my gosh, this guy's just on his game on another level. Just the way he was able to get out of that. What a performance. You know, I have it down there with the yards he threw for. I'm 340 yards. Higgins, welcome back a little bit as well. I don't know. We can get to the Bills a little bit here. But let's go Bengals right away with that. They look like they're just, like we're back here, Jimmy. We're getting your team. We're getting the team we thought.
Yeah, and it's coming. It's a total team effort because it's coming from everybody. The defense that's what is the catalyst here. That you have the same offensive, defensive, special teams coordinator, head coach for the last 4 years. We have a program set in place. Louis Anarumo is the best kept secret in the NFL, and I hope we are able to hold on to him for yet another season. I don't think it's happening. I think some team that is in current hell right now is going to end up with Louis Anarumo as their head coach. But for what he's done as the defensive coordinator and what he does with this team, like they come up with clutch moments, and they don't let big plays happen. They talked about it. I heard Collinsworth say they were playing Dax Hill at 22 yards last night. 22 yards deep from the line of scrimmage. They did not let a single big play happen, and when they needed to, they got Dalton Kincaid to fumble so that they were able to ice the game. Like, say what you want. There was a little bit of letdowns. You'd like it to be a little bit smoother, I would say. But the defense, when they needed to, made a play. T. Higgins stepped up. Tyler Boyd had a big catch. You were getting the tight ends involved. Joe Mixon. Yeah. Jamar Chase didn't have to do anything. He actually kind of got hurt yesterday on that one deep ball. If Burrow leads him, he walks. If Burrow leads him just a little bit further, he walks in. I love the Bills DB running back with the clamps. I was like, dude, you got beat by 6 yards. The quarterback just underthrew the football, and you were able to run back up and catch up to it. No, I think you're seeing what this team can be, and I also think that we're still not seeing them at. They haven't played their full A game yet. They're winning, and they're winning pretty good games, but there's still a lot of things that they need to fix, and there's still a lot of mistakes that were made that they were able to overcome.
Jordan, to me, the defense has arrived. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're the ones that like it's holding up their end of the bargain. Like this isn't just your offensive Cincinnati Bengals. To me, that's where I see the difference, because the Bills get that touchdown right away. You're like 14-7. This might be a high scoring game. But I felt like you guys put the clamps on a little bit. What's your thoughts on that?
I think the young secondary has arrived 100%. I mean, you look at Cam Taylor-Britt has 3 interceptions. One of those is a pick 6. Mike Hilton has 2 interceptions in his pocket. You look at Logan Wilson has 3 interceptions, leading all linebackers in the NFL.
Oh, he's awesome.
He's the most feared part of our pass defense is Logan Wilson.
You look at Jermaine Pratt himself, who just 2 years ago we were taking off the field on 3rd downs. He now has 2 interceptions going into the year. So it's coming together. They forced 2 fumbles also in the last 2 weeks. They're winning the turnover battle, and that's kind of the formula of the playoffs that they've gone into the last 2 seasons. They were always plus category in takeaways, and it's no different now. But the offense is getting together. It's good to see T. Higgins get his timing down, Joe Burrow get comfortability in the pocket. The protection from the line is the best I've seen in years. There's still some flaws to it. I love the double.
Are you concerned about Mixon at all?
I'm not concerned about Mixon, because if you look at his carries, he's
concerned.
He's still not getting heavy volume.
Is there any concern? No, and Burrow said it the last 2 weeks too. Mixon is the reason their pass pro has been better, because Mixon is picking up these extra blitzers, giving them that extra second. I was expecting a few times last night where Buffalo, okay, here it comes. They're going to sack him. This is going to be the play where we have to overcome. This is going to be the drive where we have to overcome the sack. But Mixon has stepped up. Sure, the rushing numbers aren't pretty, but he, like I said about the defense, I wouldn't say that the defensive numbers are very pretty. The teams moved the ball quite a bit on us. San Francisco was moving the ball up and down the field the week before. Last night, it looked like the Bills were going to be able to go in and score. They caused a turnover. So it's a bend, don't break mentality.
No, but Mixon, when he needs always to. Played a bend, don't break. Lou's always played a bend, don't break.
I'm
when
good
they get
with
to the red zone, they're a completely different level.
This team is a heavyweight boxer looking to score a knockout in the 9th, 10th, 12th round. They're not here to knock you out early. We can play an explosive style of game, but we would much rather have the lead at the end of the game, and we're trying to ride Mixon. We're throwing these quick slants to Jamar Chase. We're getting yards on you that you don't. It's death by 1,000 paper cuts. I'm throwing body blows for the first 8 rounds. Mick is telling me dig the body. The body. That's all they do. And then all of a sudden you go up top for that one haymaker down at the end of the game. Boom, Jamar Chase, 63-yard touchdown. Oh, I guess that's it.
Man, and you talked about that hit he took on the fall. That was a pretty vicious hit. Let me go to my next guy here, Chris Collinsworth. Brian Johnson. Let me go to Brian Johnson here down at the corner. Brian Burrow, you saw him against the Niners here with it. But how about the Bills? They're falling – I mean, what are they falling apart? Are they falling apart? Is it Allen or bust now? Is that what this has come down to for the Bills? Can you hear me, Brian Johnson? Are you there? I think he's gone. I think he's dead.
I don't know if you're saying you don't know what your identity is in November.
Yeah, no, I hear you. They all have that.
I said if you don't know what your identity is in November.
Yeah. No, you're right. That's true. If you don't know what you're actually doing by the time you get here, and that's kind of how I feel about the Bills as well. That's a good point. Like, I don't know what I'm actually seeing. Jimmy, what do you make? Brian, simple, but you're right. Well said there. It is kind of like, if you're right, because as you move on to the playoffs, you do have to have an identity. It can't just be Allen scrambling, rolling out.
I think what I saw from Buffalo last night too is they've kind of gone full circle to where, I'm sure I think a few of us have WWE fandom experience, but like they went from the team, the face that you wanted to see win, all the way around to the heel so quick. They turned heel so quick because now you have Josh Allen complaining about everything. He's literally looking over at the referee after every play doing this. He's turned into a palms up guy. Stephon Diggs is the baby. He's a prima donna. Like, this team has gone from that little spunky organization you want to see have success to, okay, now they complain about everything and feel like they're much better than they should be. They have not done enough to prove what they are. And this season is a testament to that. They have not done what they needed to this year to be taken as seriously. They're in that same category, I think, with Miami, where you're looking at them like you're a little fraudulent. I don't know if you're there for the tough moments because Josh Allen has not stood up in the tough moments right now.
I would agree with that. And as you do, I got to bring in my guy, John, from Out of Your Falcon Mind. John, appreciate you jumping on late here. I know you had a show on earlier today, was able to catch some of it. I'm sorry. I know you guys are in a tough whirlwind, and I appreciate you coming on for a few minutes to maybe give us a little insight on it. But maybe before we go into your team for a second, and I got to go back to this game, I got to go. What do you think? You're from an outside perspective. What do you kind of make of this Bengals build? Are the Bengals like, are you ascending them? Are we like right there with the Chiefs now a little bit, or are we kind of hesitant a little bit still with them?
First of all, hey, what's up, guys? Been a bit. Good to see you guys. I've been crying for like 24 hours. So no, I said I'm down. I like what I saw. Yeah, I think they're on the way up, and I mean, like I heard Jimmy say, that's why you can't have nice things because I'm super aware of that feeling. So I mean, like, yeah, I mean, but y'all have a quarterback and you've got a coach that calls plays that makes sense. So I mean, just go watch ours. You'll feel a hell of a lot better.
It's eerily similar though. Like if there's not that success that I want to see, it could look very similar to Matt Ryan. So that's the other thing that I'm also seeing. Like it's good now. Burrow has to take that next step and be able to beat Mahomes and everything like that. Otherwise, we're looking at a very talented tandem that should have done a lot more, but they're just always going to run into some roadblock. That's the bad part about being a quarterback in the AFC right now. Is that everybody's
for sure? Yeah,
And
definitely.
I know we got you on here for a little bit here, so I think I told them when we get on here, I want to make this happen with the audience, and it was one of the better games of the day yesterday. With it was, and I feel like
better.
Well, in terms of an outsider's perspective, I was at the Pizza Shack with my beer watching it. Let's just put it that way, John. All right.
When you look at everything's better. Okay, Daren, we get it.
Dude, I was at my kid. We were at the baseball field all day. Like, I mean, he had two games in the morning, and then he had a break between the second game and the championship game. So we were able to, good or bad, I was able to watch the game on my phone and get extremely angry. But yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
My question is this to you: like, you can't lose a game like that if you're the Falcons.
No.
And like, I noticed you guys were talking about a lot yesterday on it, and then today on the show. It immediately goes to the head coach. So I want to give you the floor for a minute. I'll let Jimmy kind of go after you and then Jordan. Which kind of and then Brian, what do you think of like just this? Because I kind of believed it a little bit. The division's there for it. You go to and then you can't lose to a quarterback that gets traded to you 5 days before that. So your thoughts there, John, real quick. I'll let you.
No, you guys go. Then I'll go last.
Go ahead, Jimmy.
I mean, Josh Dobbs threw a touchdown pass. I'm sorry. Who are you again? How? Especially after it started the way that it did. A fumble, like 2 turnovers in a succession of 5 plays, a sack. And he doesn't know what he's doing. We know this. I'm sure like everybody's seen the little Giants. They're drawing plays on their bellies in the huddle. Kevin O'Connell's like, okay, tell the Z do this, tell the X do this, the Y, the H, tell the line to do this. Okay, you got that? Josh Dobbs is like, nah, I don't got a clue. I love Arthur Smith. There's a lot of things that I do like about the Falcons. I like the history. I like the Dirty Birds. I like where they were with Matt Ryan. Matty Ice was cool. I've kind of been like a Boston College guy. So Matt Ryan, awesome story from that. But at some point, what the hell? Because you get that close in the Super Bowl. We know what happened. I was pushing really hard. I basically turned like I was from Atlanta for like a week there, 2 weeks when we knew that they were playing the Patriots. And now I want to see them. They had it all right in front of them. And you just can't do nothing about it because that's as bad as it gets. Losing to a guy that has no idea, who he's throwing the ball to, what they're doing in the huddle, how to call plays in this system, and shouldn't have been suited up to be able to play. The fact that they had him suited up is a joke and a half. And it's so dumb. I don't know how this works out, but it did. And it's bad. It's a look in the mirror moment for sure.
Jordan?
I want to kind of backtrack on what he was saying there. One, Josh Dobbs. I mean, he's been quarterbacking this year. That'd be no different than going to a different group of kids and quarterbacking some backyard football. I mean, if you're football players, you're football players. So I wouldn't take that much credit away from him because he's had success this year and he's had success in the league. Always, going to a new system on that short of a break is always kind of a shock. But at the end of the day, football is football. You're passing, you're calling some plays, you're making some adjustments. There's a lot more than that, but it's just, at the end of the day, they were asking him to play some backyard football, and that's kind of what you got. And should the Falcons have lost to him? Absolutely not. I think they're I'm going to label it their Marvin Lewis era right now. They have all the talent in the world on both offense and defense. They're beating themselves, and that's not a knock. That's not a knock on you. It's just Atlanta on paper. You guys are stacked. You have the receivers, you have the running backs. You made absolutely amazing signings on defense, both for veterans and youth. I mean, it's on paper.
The truth.
They're underperforming. They're in a division that they should be steamrolling. The Saints are struggling with Derek Carr's injury. The Buccaneers are up and down, kind of what we expected from the quarterback situation, from him coming from Carolina and coming from Cleveland. It's kind of no different, but Josh Dobbs has success, and the Vikings aren't that bad of a team either. But should you have lost like that? Absolutely not. But it's just I think the Falcons will clean house. I predict them to do what the Raiders did last week, kind of at the end of the year, and kind of regroup and restart, especially on offense.
That's fair. Brian, hopefully you can join us here with it. Hopefully your audio works out with it. Brian, what do you think of the Falcons there with it? A little delay.
I thought they made the right call going with Heineke, but
would have been nice to know for my fantasy. I didn't know that until the quarter into the game. I was like, oh shit, that's not Desmond Ridder.
No, that would have been the worst part if you had Desmond Ridder.
I did, but Daren,
you did have to.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers popped his Achilles week 1.
I'm sorry about that. And then John, before we go to you, I had written down for it goal line stand by Vikings. There was a 3rd and 20 where Dobbs rushed to the right, got a first down. Those seem like game changers to me. Your thoughts here on the Falcons and where they're at? They kind of have a lot of drama on them this week.
Yeah, like you said earlier, it goes back when this kind of shit happens. It goes back to the coach eventually, right? And it's like I've defended Arthur the entire time he's been there. He had no money the first year, had no money the second year, had relatively hardly any talent on the roster. A lot of 1-year contracts, a lot of vets, whatever, young guys. This year, close to $200 million you're spending in free agency, and you got a hell of a draft. You got Bijan Robinson, you got Tyler Algier last year, you got Drake London, you got Kyle Pitts, you got Cordell Patterson. You just go down the list, man. That's supposedly one of the better offensive lines when it comes to running the ball. And that was our identity last year. It didn't matter who we were playing against. If they were going to stack the box 7, 8 guys, we were still going to run the ball, and we were still successful doing it. So we're like, okay, well, that's who we are. We're 25th in the league this year in rushing. That was not predicted, or even like that's the one thing we all kind of figured, like, okay, we know we can run the ball. We just have to get something out of the quarterback position. Now, and Desmond doesn't even have to be great. We were thinking, okay, Des just has to be average, league average quarterback, run the ball like we've been doing, play good defense, we'll be fine. And he wasn't. Dez's biggest issue was obviously the turnovers, right? I mean, he had some terrible picks, but the fumbles, I mean, like it was almost comical. Like he's to lose 6 fumbles, like that's like my Scott, who I had on the show earlier, said it's almost kind of just like really bad luck at some point that you're just going to lose all 6 of those fumbles. But I mean, that doesn't happen. But like he was progressing in the pass game, and I wasn't upset they went to Heineke. I just thought, okay, Arthur, look, if this is the guy you think is going to be that much better than Desmond, cool. You better win now, because that's what you're telling me is he's going to operate this offense so much better than what Desmond is doing. And yesterday, That was basically what Desmond's done. He threw 3 balls that could have been easily picked. 2 were in the hands, dropped. 1 was picked. Several sailed. Didn't do bad. What he did better than Desmond was his pocket awareness. And that's what Desmond, obviously, as a rookie, I'll still call him a rookie, that just takes reps. And that takes time in this league to get that down. I would expect an 8-year veteran to have that, so that's what he did better. I don't know. I mean, here we go. Lorenzo Carter gave us the ball on the 1-yard line. Then we had a false start. Okay, you still got 4 downs to get 5 yards. We end up running a jet sweep with Jonnu Smith to the left side of our line with Kyle Pitts blocking Danielle Hunter. What in the entire hell are you doing?
The fact that Kyle Pitts was expected to block is a joke.
I mean, did you draft? I mean, what did you draft him for? Or what you draft? Bijan wasn't on the field in that entire series.
Yeah.
You don't think that could be a help?
Did he sleep with somebody's girlfriend?
Yeah,
that's the only excuse.
Bro, I don't. I mean, we were just. I was at a loss. I didn't know. I was like, are you? Because I mean, Arthur has called some shit over the last couple of years. We just sit there and like, dude, it's not that hard. Like it is, you are overthinking this shit. And the fact that Josh Dobbs came in after 4 days and beat us is exactly the point. Don't you think he overthought it? No, he's like, hey, run this route. I'll throw this to you. This dude's over here trying to figure out calculus on how we're going to score with guys that are top 10 picks. Dude, it's not that hard. I mean, I don't know why the hell I went and bought an NFL Plus, but now I can watch the all 22s. Fuck. What a headache, man. I went through that shit last week, and I'm so upset I have to go through
this
it.
This is the most frustrated I think I've seen you since I've known you on through Twitter and all that. And since I
told our viewers, man, because I'm 41 fucking years old. I've been the fan of this team for 30 years. I've seen a lot of bad football. I mean, I've seen some good football, but I've seen a lot of bad football. And I normally keep myself pretty chill. I'm laid back. I'm patient. It just yesterday. I don't know. Maybe it was just a fact that, dude, I have defended you. I have, all your decisions, everything, and it's just you're just shitting on everybody. I don't know what else to say, man. One of the guys came tonight. One of our buddies, Adam, and he was, he said he's never had a QB a real Tannehill, 2019, Tannehill was peak Arthur Smith. I mean, fantastic season, called it a great year. That's what we were hoping we'd get here, And I wasn't expecting Desmond Ridder to be an amazing quarterback, but that's not what we were told we needed. We were just told hey, this guy can operate his offense. That's what we need. That's all we need. And then I don't know if it's done for Des yet or not. I mean, if it's me, Taylor's not our quarterback of the future.
Go back.
So I would, yeah. I mean, he's already said Taylor's starting this week, so that's already done. So, and then we have the bye next week.
Is the division done, John? Are you that? I mean, you're only 1 game out.
No.
I mean,
that's the thing.
John's falling off the rails like you were at the beginning here at the Bengals.
We got to calm him down a little bit. No, the division's still there for the taking, which is crazy. We were only 4. I get it. We're 4-5. Yeah. But we should be 7-2, 6-3 at the worst. I mean, if you look at how these games have went down, that's literally how it. I mean, our defense has played well enough. Now, granted, yesterday they forgot how to tackle that 3rd and 20. And I'll let D. Alford go on this one. He's 5'9", 180 pounds, trying to tackle a 6'4", 240-pound quarterback that didn't want to be tackled. I'll give him that. That's a tough play to make. But Bud Dupree on a 4th and 7, you're a big boy, dude. You can't miss that tackle. That one, those 2 plays, we could have just iced the game right there. But the defense has played well enough to keep us, like I said, a safety, give you the ball on the 1, another turnover, give you the ball on the 30. We got 6 points off of those turnovers.
Yeah, defense was good.
The defense has been good enough all year to if the offense, dude. I mean,
11 points, Jimmy. 72.
11, yes. 11 points yesterday in the first half was the most points we've scored in the first half all year long, and that's a true stat. And really, 2 of those were the safety, so really 9 points for the offense. I'm at a loss. Like I said, and if you can tell me, I know the execution part's there. The players have to execute what's being called, but damn it, if you're going to get these many talented players, eventually it goes back to and I said last week on our show, man, Arthur, dude, this is the 4th quarterback now in 2 years. If because all eyes are going to be on you. If no quarterback can operate this thing, I'm not saying that he's, like I said, like, worst case scenario, we lose this week and it just, we don't win a division and it just goes downhill. And some folks want to go in and the Drake May, Caleb Williams, whoever your quarterback of choice is type thing. And we're going to, okay, then you're talking about what Shanahan did, 3 first rounders and whoever else you want to throw in there. I mean, that's, or you're bringing in a vet like Tannehill. I don't want Tannehill next year, but I mean, dude, I don't know. It's just it's completely frustrating. But yeah, what you said on Twitter, I lost yesterday on Twitter, dude. Like I didn't go like full bore, but I mean I was close. I was just like this. I mean, it was just it's I don't know. You can't have that. You can't lose to a guy who's been on the team for 4 days. Like you just can't.
Would you guys put in chips for Justin Fields?
I'm not against it. I mean, at this point, I mean, I know he's been in a terrible situation too in Chicago, but knowing that's been out there, I've watched, and there's a lot of Falcons fans that are pissed that we didn't draft him to begin with. I mean, I wanted Jalen Hurts back in the day to sit behind Matt Ryan. That was my ideal situation. Like, I'm an Alabama fan too, so like I would thought like, okay, of course I'm going to want Jalen, but I thought, man, bring him in, sit behind Matt. But no, that's okay. Then you just have to go piss off Matt and try to go after Deshaun. So he wants to get the hell out of town. So then you run Matt out of town, and Deshaun's gone, so that doesn't work. And now you got to draft a guy. So you draft a guy in the 3rd round, and then you prep him up to be like the guy, and then you take him out 7 games in. And so I don't know. I mean, I'm all about I know Art's trying to win games, obviously, and yes, he felt that Tyrod Taylor's the best way to do it. But to me, Taylor's not your future. So if you think Dez might be, just play him again, man. Let him take his lumps, because otherwise, again, we're back in the QB market again next year. We're back on the QB carousel, which nobody wanted to be on. So,
well, John, I appreciate your insight there at the Falcons. I could sense and I could feel the Falcons' frustration with it. Jimmy, I know, John, you only joined for a short time, I believe, tonight with it, but I appreciate you coming on, giving us those thoughts with it. Jimmy Pilato, any last thoughts here for our friend here from Variety Sports Network? Out of Your Falcon Mind, always a great podcast, great show. Be sure to check them out, as you know.
Yeah, no, everything that you just said, Jordan put it the best, because those are the exact same arguments that I would have with myself, and like the arguments I would get in at school when the Bengals had Marvin Lewis. Like, we're gonna get to a certain point. We're always gonna be there. We're never going to be totally disappeared. But that also sucks, because then you never get the guys that can turn your program around. And then you just get to wallow in this, oh, is this going to happen? Is that going to happen? This is going to be the year, right? I haven't won a playoff game yet. No, this is going to be the year. No. This is going to be the Carson Palmer tore his ACL. Okay, Vontaze Burfict knocked out Antonio Brown. Okay, I got nothing left. At some point, you got to burn it down to the studs, and I don't know. I love Arthur Smith. I think that he can do something. It just hasn't worked out, and I can't figure out why.
So, yeah, before I don't have to run just yet. I can stay hang out for another 10, 15 minutes or so. But I put out a poll because I was just curious. I had an idea of where like the heads were at for the Falcons fans, and just, But let me find it here. I said, okay, just curious. Arthur Smith, where are you guys at? And the options were still believe, no faith at all, or believe, but I got 1 foot out the door. And so far, after 1,672 votes, 4% still believe. And 4% out of 1,600, almost 1,700 votes, 62% said no faith at all, and 34% believe but 1 foot out the door. And I said on the show, I'm in that believe, but 2 feet and 9 toes out. Like, I'm hanging on by like freaking pinky toe, because I've got to see the results at some point. I mean, year 1 and 2, I gave you a pass, and you actually excelled last year with a bad roster and a terrible quarterback. He's 7 wins out of that bunch and was pretty okay. But like this year with the upgraded talent, you got the same record as last year. I mean, the excuses are running out, man. Like, it's just I like Arthur Smith as a dude too. I said before, like, I hope he succeeds, not just because for the team, but the guy is like a coach. Like, I like everything about him. I don't care. His snarkiness doesn't bother me. I think it's kind of funny. But I don't know. I just see at some point he's got to show results, and this was supposed to be, like a 3-year type of plan. And this year we're expected to win more, and this division's there for the taking. So the next to last easiest schedule. I hate that term, but like, it is what it is. On paper, the next to last easiest schedule in the league. And here we are. And we're 2.5 point favorites.
Yeah,
we're 2.5 point favorites against the Cardinals this week. I know Kyler Murray's coming back, but
that should be 5, right?
1-8 Cardinals at home. I mean,
by some weird Josh
John
goes back to Arizona and then beat you 2 weeks in a row after just showing up on Tuesday.
Yeah.
John,
I'm a mess, dude. I'm a mess.
I'm saying a prayer for you today. I've been saying one for you. You deserve it. This is how I felt. That's how I felt before the Raiders firing got Antonio Pierce.
I mean, any bourbon companies that any bourbon or beer companies that want to sponsor, just reach out.
That's where it is from there. Hey, I know you said we got you for a 10 to 15 more here, so feel free to jump off whatever you got, my friend. But I appreciate you taking the time to do it. We're just going to go game by game here for a little bit, move through it a little quicker here as we go. Games of the day. I had it. Jalen Hurts shakes off knee injury. They beat the Cowboys with it. They moved to 8-1. Jimmy, the injury.
The Cowboys lost this game. The Cowboys had every right to win this game.
How about that call up the goal line, Jimmy? Any questions with that?
You just got to have more awareness. Like, if you're gonna be who everybody thinks that Dak Prescott is, you have to have more awareness, and you have to win in those situations. You have to get the 2-point conversion. Yep. If you're gonna beat the defending Super Bowl runners-up at their home, and you're going to make a statement, then you're going to have to play a perfect game, and you didn't. But you did a lot of good things. You put yourself in the position to win, and you made them make a lot of mistakes. And I know Jalen Hurts is hurt, but I think the Cowboys lost this game. The Eagles did not win this game.
That's an interesting point, but because they had that lead there, and then they had that goal line kind of weird, controversial play there at the goal line. That I thought, I don't always agree with everything Chris said, but he did have some logic where he said, if you don't judge a catch by the time it hits the ground, how are you judging the catch? It was a weird kind of deal with all that, like just some of the ways they worked through the rules there at the goal line with it. Jordan, what do you think of that take there, Jimmy had?
I think it's pretty accurate because you look at statistically and on paper. The Cowboys whooped them all the way up and down the field, but that bend don't break mentality, they never broke Philly's back, and they beat themselves. I never want to see officiating kind of decide those things.
Yeah,
but it's a 4-quarter, 60-minute on the field game, and if you let if you let it get down to the wire to the point where the officials are going to call the game, you beat yourself. So I totally agree with his take on that.
John?
Yeah, I don't disagree at all. That's you never want to let the refs have anything to do with it if any way possible whatsoever. And as much as I don't like either team, you can't root.
What do you think about that little? The thing with the Eagles to me is they're 8-1. The reason I bring up the Hurts injury, I guess, in this I don't want to spend a whole time. I kind of okay, have we peaked a little bit? That's if I was an Eagles fan, I'd be a little concerned about that a little bit. We had this great season last year. We're off to this half-season great start this year. I'm starting to see some of my main guys get banged up. Brown's been awesome, but I don't know. That would just be if I was thinking on the negative side. That's kind of where my head would go a little bit if I was an Eagles fan, but obviously, they have a great offensive line. They have this play that's unreal that everybody thinks is unstoppable. The Cowboys can't win a big game if their life ever depended on it. They beat the Niners last year, but they have this kind of little aura about them right now. So I think the Eagles are in a good spot in terms of overall. The Hurts thing does concern me a little bit. I just got to say that's kind of how I feel a little bit with that moving forward with it. The other game of the day I got here, I thought it was fun, was the Texans and the I thought that was a good Bucs game. I was driving home.
Cowboys stand up.
What do you think of Mayfield? Jimmy, real quick on him. He thinks he has a win. He gets the W under the quarterback stat. He has nothing to do with the defense blowing a lead in 46 seconds. He gets the big L next to his stat from there. He played well.
You want to know what he's thinking? Why can't I get a fucking head coach?
That's probably right.
Why can't I get a head coach that knows how to win with me? Because Todd Bowles obviously doesn't know how to win with me. Kevin Stefanski couldn't figure it out consistently. You could win with Baker Mayfield in the NFL. He's proven that. And it was
a lot of guys like playing for him. That has to mean something.
He knows what he's doing. Like he's not lack of preparation or lack of anything. People like to lump him in with Johnny Manziel because he kind of had the same attitude in college and he went to Cleveland. He's not Johnny Manziel. He prepares. He knows what the defense is going to throw at him. He puts himself in good spots. But just Todd Bowles, why do you score that quickly and leave 40 seconds for CJ Stroud? I get that it's rookie quarterback on the other side of the field, but have some situational awareness and know that this kid is not a kid. He's better than Bryce Young up until this point of the season. Yeah. You can say that with 100%. And it's very weird to have said that before week 10, before we hit double digits in the NFL season. We know CJ Stroud is better than Bryce Young at this point.
And he was balling the entire game.
He's done it the entire. It's not like 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, he
Bryce
showed
Young
up.
Beat him though. Young beat him 15-30.
I'm convinced Todd Bowles doesn't watch the NFL. Like when he was the head coach for the Jets, which I had to sit through my brother being disappointed every season watching Todd Bowles be his head coach. I just don't think he watches football. He was a good player. He's really good when he played. As a coach,
good with the defense, but head coaching, I don't know.
I think it's fun, this question right here, because these are the type of games during the regular season that, like, you look at the schedule, like, this means nothing. Like at the beginning of the year, it means absolutely nothing. You look at
There's nothing on the line. This is
but it turns out to be a fun, exciting game with it. Jordan, to you real quick with it. Stroud 5 touchdowns, 470 yards, rookie thing with it. Just, I'm a beast right now. I'm kind of walking away with rookie of the year, it feels like, at this point, especially from the offensive side.
Oh, no doubt. There's still a lot of football left to be played, but as of right now, hands down, rookie of the year. I know he's got good weapons around him and a good system, but everybody kind of forgets. You kind of take away the Michigan losses and some of the playoff issues Ohio State had as a team, where that was mostly, if you kind of watched them, Ohio State's defense completely blew that Georgia game. Regardless of the 50-yard field goal miss. It had nothing to do with him. CJ Stroud, he came out. He's to me, he was one of the best polished quarterbacks coming out of college. He had the prime time under his belt. He had the big games, played in the big conference, played in conference championships, played in the playoff championships with all eyes watching. So, to me as an Ohio State fan, it's not that big of a shocker. I know the rest of the country is just kind of getting on board, which kind of feels like, but I don't see him slowing down. I kind of hope he slows down next week because I'm a Cincinnati fan, but I think statistically, and the fact that he's still at 1 interception. That's impressive, incredible as a rookie. So
dealing with what I've had to watch over the years, I'll take that in a heartbeat.
He did what people wanted Justin Fields to do. That was his biggest issue. And to be 100% honest, is that we thought Justin Fields was going to be able to come into the NFL from Ohio State's system under Ryan Day and be able to step in and make a team better than they should be. And he couldn't, and he still hasn't been able to do that. They still haven't figured that situation out in Chicago. And CJ Stroud, people like myself, I will put my hand up and admit I have a total bias against Ohio State. I don't know what it is. I just never ever in my life, ever rooted for them. So the fact that they can put out their quarterbacks and I can talk shit about their quarterbacks because they never do anything, CJ Stroud is taking that away from me. But it's fun to watch, and he's a good dude. Like, I've seen him on enough stuff now. I've kind of got his backstory. He's mature beyond his years, and I'm thinking about it now as a former player. Like, you just want a guy like that as your leader because he's calm, he's cool, collected. He's never going to overreact. He's never going to put anybody else. Like, I take the blame. Yeah. I'll do what's best, and I'll figure out how to score with 40 seconds left and win by 2 against a team that we probably should have lost to.
What a performance in that ending with it. John, I got to say real quick, Ohio State. I did root for Ohio State when they had David Boston and Sean Springs. I did root for that era a little bit. So those games with the old school style there right there. John, I'm curious to get your thoughts with it, though, as are you glad he's not in your division?
100%. That's exactly where I was going with it, too. I'm obviously I was a huge Bryce Young fan, but I was more concerned with, I thought Frank Reich was going to take Stroud, and I was like, I hope he doesn't take, because I just like, as a prospect, I like Stroud better. I mean, he can make every throw on the field, and Bryce can too. But he's
bigger than I thought, though.
Yeah, he is, and he can. I mean, ball placement is top notch. I mean, just everything about him. Like that Georgia game. I'm glad he had that game against Georgia because I'm sure that kind of boosted his stock because everybody, I said he had some shaky performances against some bigger teams, but that was one of his best performances, against Georgia. And like you said, Georgia had nothing to do with the loss. So I mean, yeah, I'm totally glad he's with Houston and. Not in our division. And, Bryce is having, on the contrary, a very tough season. So, I mean, a lot less around him, but also it's just, it's a different game, man. QB is without a doubt, the toughest thing to predict or even project into the next level. It's almost impossible.
So at this point, it looks just like Mahomes and Trubisky.
Yeah, 100%.
Is this the team we're starting to buy into next? Is this the hype team? Is this the hype team next year a little bit? Is this kind of where they make a couple sexy offseason signings? Oh, I got the Texans here, baby. They're making that. They're roll.
It all starts with the QB, right? I mean, that's
you would like to think that this is going to be a flash in the pan, but CJ Stroud has proven that he's going to be a steady presence. And let's talk about D'Amico Ryans because I think people they thought when he was hired that it was just another meathead hire, and he started at the very bottom, worked his way up to a lot of different staffs, worked his way under a lot of different head coaches that are making a lot of different moves now. This was not a flash in the pan. This was not Jeff Saturday being hired to coach the Colts, being off of ESPN. D'Amico Ryans has been in NFL head coaching university for the past however many years it's been since he stopped playing. He has a culture that he wants to instill. He has a leader in CJ Stroud that he can instill that culture in. So as much as this seems like it's going to be a flash in the pan, and they may struggle next season, but this is a program. If you stick behind this head coach, if you stick behind this starting quarterback, this seems like they're starting to get the right things in place. You're not going to have any more issues like what forced this. Because we know why they have CJ Stroud and they have D'Amico Ryans. Because the last regime had a whole bunch of messy shit going on. Now you have the opposite. You have the antithesis. And I think D'Amico Ryan deserves a lot of the credit.
I saw it out here with the Niners on defense, obviously, he was dominant. I loved his energy and for me, that's a big thing. It's like the respect of the players, the passion, the energy, the desires. I like to say you got that feeling from watching him play. John, I know you probably got to run here in a second. I hope I can hold you on for at least one more game. I kind of want to get your thoughts on here with it, if you don't mind. Yeah, sure. I kind of want to end it with one that was it was early. I was out here, started at 6:30 a.m. out here in the West Coast. I was at a Holiday Inn after my friend Tyler McGurk got married in Sausalito. Made my way over to the Holiday Inn in Mill Valley. If you're a Bay Area person, about 10 minutes away. Got up for my Holiday Inn buffet breakfast at 6 o'clock. Got to watch a little bit of the game there. Drove home, back to it. And that's, of course, the Chiefs and the Dolphins here. I got to get your thoughts on that. That was one of the big games of the day. It was in Frankfurt, Germany. We had they're out with it. Mahomes, the Chiefs, they pull it out. And kind of now I hear the Dolphins are a fraud. They're a fraud now. They're, Hill, he fumbled. Of course, Hill fumbled.
Yeah. The Dolphins, no. Like the beaches of Normandy, the Dolphins will fall.
And as me and Jimmy got us ready for it last Saturday, if you were all with us talking the gridiron, you heard that, getting us ready for it. Jimmy, I'll throw it to you first. What do you think? What do you think would happen with your boys there? Andy Reid, they performed. McDaniel's not ready. I'm kidding. 21.
My boys. No, it sucks. I was doing the math as we're sitting here. Nico and I had a bad week and pick them. It looks like at this point I'm going to have the only win of the weekend with the Bengals. But, we both thought that Miami was going to win, and it was based off of their sleep schedule and the itinerary of their trip because they're like, oh, McDaniels was like, I'm going to get out to Germany early. And we both thought in our heads, oh, McDaniels is going to get out there and he's going to game plan. Nah, he went to every pub and every Oktoberfest festival that you can imagine. I get it. Like, he's probably going to be really popular at those events too. But you did have a football game to prepare for. And
what's the percentage of those?
You didn't look ready. You didn't look ready, and you were there for longer. And Andy Reid sucks in clock management, yet he dominated you, and you proved that the Chiefs' defense is legit because they held a very good offense to 14 points. And
It was an ugly game to watch, though.
It was not
there were so
fun.
many penalties. There were like 25. It was like ridiculous how many.
It's not fun, but I'm going to tell you, I walked away feeling pretty shitty about being in the AFC and having to deal with the Chiefs come the playoffs because their defense is good. Now their defense is the backbone of their team. And I have to figure out, I mean, I'm thinking that Mahomes is going to figure some shit out. And Kelsey's going to figure some shit out.
You guys can out.
Yeah, but I'm nervous. That's what I'm saying. They are still sitting in the corner.
They're still the AFC's daddy. They own everybody.
Family Guy fans will understand this. They're the evil monkey living in Chris's closet. The Chiefs are going to pop out and just start pointing at him. I'm going to be like, oh, shit, it could happen because I've beaten them once and I've lost to them once. And I don't want to lose to them again. My girlfriend's now a Chiefs fan.
He goes,
I have to deal with them.
What are Vikings? The Chiefs? What's going on here?
Mom's from Kansas City. Dad's from Minnesota, Wisconsin area. It's a whole thing.
All right, good. At least we know you're still. I was like, you date somebody else? What's going on here? What's going on? We changed some area code. Who's talking the gridiron? TMZ. We got with Jimmy or Jordan. What do you think? Mahomes. He gets they get the 2D touchdowns. The Dolphins look kind of off the whole game offensively. I got to listen to most of from about second quarter home. I listened to it on the radio, and that's what it sounded like to me. Just penalties up the wazoo with this game. Kind of an ugly win, though, but the Chiefs, again, they proved their dominance.
It had a lot of penalties, but the narrative is kind of the same for the Dolphins. They are 0-6 against winning teams in recent time, and they are 6-0 against non-winning teams. And their head coach even came out, and said, if you want to change the narrative, it starts there. And, they did all the flash and dash and, 70 points against Denver, and we all bought into it. They looked unstoppable. Tyreek looked unstoppable. I know they've had some issues with Armstead at left tackle on and off. I know Jalen Waddle's had some health issues on and off the field constantly the last couple of games. But, man, they just look bad against winning squads. And, I'm still not sold on the Chiefs. I'm still not sold.
Really?
They escaped New York because of the flags.
Offensively, I'm with you. Their defense is legit.
Their defense is legit. I mean, Chris Jones and company is always going to be legit, but the other side of the ball, to me, I mean, they've been inconsistent all year. But they played a smash mouth football team in Detroit and absolutely got shut down. They, regardless of the flu and weather, Denver kind of played them similar just a week ago. Like I said, the Jets played them very similar. You put a good quarterback with the Jets, and I mean, you're looking at a 3-4 loss team almost, in my opinion. So I'm not sold on the Chiefs. They have a great defense. Patrick Mahomes is always going to make plays. Yeah. Kelsey's always going to find space, but I'm not sold on them winning the big one.
Interesting, John. Before you got to go here, I'm going to give you the last word with it. What do you think of the Chiefs and the Dolphins there?
Yeah, I agree a little bit of some of both your points, but yeah, I mean, it's cool when you can not be at your best and still win. And I don't know what that's like. I think that'd be really cool. Shout out to Chiefs fans for knowing what that feels like. But I mean, I think with this point in the season, like they still, they're like you said, like Mahomes is going to figure some shit out. I mean, Travis is going to get it together. I mean, Pacheco, I have him on my fantasy team. Done pretty good. And like the way that dude runs. Defense, definitely. I'm not going to bet against them until they prove me wrong. Let's put it that way. Yeah. Because they when it comes down to it, they perform, and they win the games they have to win. And then, I mean, with the Dolphins, I love McDaniel, man. I love his personality. It's hilarious to me, cracks me up. But he's right. I mean, like you got to go beat a good team, dude. I mean, like you have this ridiculous offense, but until you go out there and prove it consistently against good teams, and you're going to have the same issue over and over and over again, And like their games overseas are always weird. Like, it seems like you never get like a full, performance. And I guess something about that travel is like there's always something just not quite right. I think it was because we lose pretty much all the ones we do over there. Maybe that's part of it, but I don't know.
The thing with the Chiefs too is like this. I always say is like their track record. They can win in any style. I mean, as much as we want to put it all on Mahomes, like they win. They win. I don't know what to tell you. It was like when the Patriots. I was gonna say it was when the Patriots beat the Chiefs that first year. Like Brady still had that edge, and he just won. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I don't know how it happens. It's just they win. You got your guy here, dirty Fanatics United.
What's going on, Chase?
Yeah, you got him with there. Always appreciate it.
Man. That's the thing with Mahomes is, he's the wild card. I mean, the dude can get out of freaking anything and then make a throw, behind his back, through his legs, over his head, whatever. He can throw from any angle anywhere on the field, and hardly anybody else can say that or do that.
I appreciate you coming on here, man. I know you had a late night. I know you had a long show earlier today. I got to check in some of it driving home from work here. Your guy Chase out there, Fanatics, appreciate you two to hear with it. I know you guys are going through it a little bit here. Appreciate you kind of diving a little deep with us in Falcons Nation midway through the season here on Talking the Gridiron, and hopefully we can get you on obviously later in the season as well, maybe to touch on some of the other stuff as well. So appreciate you taking the time to do that. And you guys doing a preview show? Or are we doing a recovery show, a therapy show? What's going on? You guys got?
I think they're all therapy shows at this point. Yeah, it's just a matter of like what stage you're in. If y'all, we put out, or Mike put out a video to 10 stages of Falcons fandom, and y'all probably seen it. But if you haven't seen it, you can go watch it, and it's legit. We went through a stage 6 yesterday, which was anger. And a lot of people have just went on to stage 9 now, which is like acceptance. You just kind of like, you're at a level of understanding that this is just who we are, what we're going to be. But anyway, no, we'll have a preview show for the Arizona game on Thursday at 7. And Mike he had to miss tonight because he was out of town on work. So
we got to get him on here one time with us.
That'll be entertaining as hell to see because he's going to have his thoughts for sure. So that should be fun. That should be fun to watch on Thursday. So 7 p.m. then and then I'll definitely come back on whenever I can, man. It's but the kid's off school tomorrow, so for voting. So the school's he's got digital learning day tomorrow. So
digital learning day. Wow, we've come a long way since our grandparents' era, haven't
we?
Big
time.
We've come a long way there, but. John, I know I speak for Jimmy in this, and Jordan, I know do that. But Jimmy, we appreciate you jumping on with us and Kevin giving your insights here on the NFL. Obviously, we respect all of your thoughts there within. Respect your guys' obviously way to get it out to the people as well. So continue your success with that, and look forward to having you on later in the season there, sir. So,
anytime, man.
Yep. All right, John. We'll talk to you soon, man. All right. See ya. Later. It was good having him on in there with it. Jimmy, real quick before I get to question of the week, I just got to real quick tell my son to be quiet to his sister and stop being rude. I'll be back in 5 seconds. But with that said, I'm going to put up best of the rest. Maybe you can help me out with this one with it. I got the Patriots. They end up beating the Commanders end up beating them. Terrell's Commanders. Just to shout that anybody out with it. They beat them 20-17 with it. I guess my point is this: would you rather have Sam Howell or Mac Jones go anywhere? I'll be back in 10 seconds. Just need to do a little parody for a second.
That's awesome because I have the parenting that I have is make sure that my puppy stays sitting down behind me while I record. I'd listen to it. I know that I get a lot of my opinions. It formulates from this show, but I listen to a Barstool show and they have a Commanders fan on it. And he says basically what I've also been thinking, like you have a guy that you can maybe start to build around in Sam Howell. I don't think you have the coach right now with Riverboat Ron and Ron Rivera. He's just very even kill. You gotta find somebody that's gonna go out and have the same mentality that your quarterback does. Because guess what? Your quarterback's been sacked more than anybody else in the entire league up until this point. And he's still here playing his balls off for you. He's still putting you in good spots. Sam Howell is the quarterback that you want to play for. You got to figure that shit out. And I know that they did the fire sale with defensive players at the trade deadline. So it's probably not going to be this year. But that's your quarterback. Fix your head coach. Fix everything else about your team, but you got your quarterback. So you're sitting tight at the most important position.
Terrell really wants Rivera fired. I know that.
He's got to go, dude. It's overdue at this point.
I agree. And then the Patriots part of it, they're just. I have a buddy who's obviously is a great friend of mine, been a Patriots fan his whole life with me. Just like I feel like they're trying to lose on purpose. Like, no, you guys finally suck. Like, just let it go, buddy. You finally suck.
They just suck. They're not losing on
your L's
purpose.
and
They
shove
just
it up
suck.
your.
I don't think you could beat Foxborough High School at this point to pull a Bill Belichick line. Foxborough High School probably come into the practice facility and kick the shit out of you guys. Put your mouths on the corner and stomp you out, curb stomp style. You guys suck in the NFL. Let's just put it that way.
Jordan, I'm going to keep the show moving just for a second because I know we're getting close to the hour mark. I know we all got to get ready for work tomorrow, so I'm going to keep it moving. Our question of the week, I got to shout out my guy here. Go check them out. The other sports show here on Variety Sports. They do a lot of fighting content. He's always retweeting your stuff. To retweet tonight, my guy, he's out there in Fresno, out here in California, real big supporter of our stuff. So I got to shout this guy out. Appreciate him doing that. Me and Jimmy, we've been at this for a year and a half doing it. So really appreciate guys like this. He's a fan of Johnson. So sorry, Johnson, you couldn't be on. He wanted Brian to have this question of the week, but I'm going to shout out to both of us as well. NFL MVP halfway point. Who do you got, Jordan?
NFL MVP. I mean, you'd be looking at my biased opinion is Joe Burrow, but I mean,
no. At this point, you can't have Burrow. Second half, maybe.
No, but I mean,
Super Bowl MVP sounds a lot better. I don't give a shit about NFL MVP.
In your guys' honest opinion, if he keeps playing at a high level, would you consider CJ Stroud for both rookie and NFL MVP?
He'd have to get him to the playoffs.
Shit.
If he won the division,
win a championship game. What are you talking about? Win your division championship game, you can be rookie of the year and NFL MVP. But anything short of that, I think you got your award. We don't need to give you both.
Man, he'd have to be so good. He'd have to be so good to win both of them. With it, I'm going with Hurts as the MVP so far. I know everybody thinks like Tua's got the leg up because of like some of the stats he has. They're ridiculous. There's no doubt about it. I do want to throw out though, is it just an MVQ award now at this point? And is it the most valuable quarterback? Is there a way McCaffrey gets in this, Jimmy, your boy from out there? I mean, I feel like he has a touchdown in 17 straight games. When do we start to give guys like McCaffrey, AJ Brown, Hill, real MVP consideration?
No, this season is the year that you can make the argument it's not MVQ this year because McCaffrey has a legit shot. There's defensive guys that could possibly get a look, and there's other position players on offense that are carrying their team. So it's not just going to be whatever quarterback is doing the best at this point. It's not just going to be Mahomes because guess what? The Chiefs aren't winning games because of Patrick Mahomes right now. They're winning games because they have complementary football around him. So this is a year where you can say it's probably not just going to be the MV quarterback. It's probably still going to be some quarterback at some point, but I think this is the year where you can say it's a little bit different.
It is kind of a little, and Jordan, I don't know if you wanted to on that. It is a little bit different, right? I feel like this is the year that AJ Brown, maybe not Brown because it hurts beyond the same thing, but I feel like that the Hill McCaffrey thing to me seems like the most realistic. We're going to go off the quarterback.
I fully agree with that. You can honestly look at McCaffrey and everything that. I mean, he's the heart of that offense. He's run game. He's pass game. He's pass blocking. He's picking up blitzes. He's rooting the guys on when they're on defense. He's walking up and down, kind of doing more than Brock Purdy does vocally. So yeah, I could totally get on board with that idea.
Did the same shit when we were playing against him in high school.
I looked at the high school video,
run down on kickoff and knock the kid that's returning the kicks helmet past the end zone, knock it out of the end zone, play safety, get a pick, go back on offense, catch a screen pass, go for 85 yards, get back on kickoff return, what are we talking about?
I'm
Why
trading
is he playing with us.
He's so good. I watched that video. He was good, man. I mean, you guys had him in your backyard right there. Just how good. I mean, just what a special athlete.
Damn towel.
Throw the towel.
I just tried to kill a spider and failed, so I lost where it's at.
That's all right. I tried to do that one time. I think it was my second actually live podcast. I did do that. I tried to And it's kind of like one of the great moments I have. But you'd have to rewatch it. And I don't think you want to sit through all that garbage. All right, so that's our question of the week. NFL MVP midweek through it. I got Hurts as the MVP through. I just feel like I don't know. Like I just feel like him and Sirianni still like. I feel like their coach gets kind of outlooked too for Coach of the Year. Like my buddy's like he's 100 plus 2,000. I'm like, we'll put money on that.
He's a rock paper scissors coach. He's not an NFL
coach. To chime somebody else in. I mean, how do you guys feel about Jared Goff? Because I know he's had up and down, but he's still taking that team. He's still taking that team to some places they haven't really been, and he's playing really well and consistent. I mean, that's
if he wins it's truly just a quarterback award.
Yeah, that's how I feel. How about Lamar Jackson, 7-2?
Not saying that he doesn't. He's playing well, but if he wins it this season of all seasons, when McCaffrey's doing what he's doing, then we know it's just a quarterback award. We don't have to worry about talking about any other position player for the rest of the time.
And Hill, I mean, he had 1,000 yards halfway through.
I can't give anything to that guy.
All right, I hear you. He's still pretty good. The fumble cost him.
I know. Terrell said the same shit. Well, you got to look at him as players, not as human beings. I can't do that. I can't do that. Tyreek Hill's a bad person. He's a really, really good NFL player.
No, I hear you with that. All right, news and notes here. Taysom Hill, we're going to go through the games here a little bit, a little quicker style here as we wrap it up. Taysom Hill, they get the touchdown. They take the lead now over the Falcons, as we talked about with John there. They get the 24-17 win over the Bears. I kind of do I'm not saying the Bears quarterback is this future, but there is a little something there with him where you're like, oh, this guy has a little something in him to be a backup maybe or something like that. Stick around. Maybe a Heineke or something like that. He should be in the pros for a little bit, but not a starter. I think we've kind of seen that through the first 2 weeks. Beating the Raiders does not count with Josh McDaniels as their coach. So that doesn't count as your win. Sorry, buddy. It can't count as much. The Saints, they get it. It's funny to me, Taysom Hill continues to play a huge role here through his career, Jimmy. Football player. Taysom Hill, football player. Right at the end of the day, that's all he is. He's a football player. I respect that part of him with it. Catching, running, throwing. Like, there is something kind of cool about – he's not perfect at any of them, but there is something cool that he can find a freaking spot on a roster, make a living, and do it. There's not very many guys that can say they've done that.
Daren, he's just Jim Thorpe. We just put different value on certain positions nowadays. He's just Jim Thorpe. He can throw the ball better than anybody on the field. He can catch the ball better than anybody on the field. He's the best tackler. He's the best running back. He's also a really good defensive line kicker. He can make the extra point. He'll walk your dog, paint your back porch. Okay, yeah. He can flat out play football.
Yeah,
it's just different value at this point. But also Tyson Badgett, I will say again, 2 games ago, he was preparing for Colorado School of Mines in the NCAA Division II football playoffs. So let's not fool ourselves on who Tyson Badgett
that reminds me, Jimmy, the one episode you missed, I remember you were over like, Sheffield Division II, where is Jimmy? We need him. Where is he?
Shepherd. Shepherd. It was a shootout against Colorado School of Mines the last time Tyson Badgett had played football before last week.
Oh man, that was great. I forgot. We were like, Division II, Jimmy, we need him.
Did you see the interview? I talked about it on our show, but his interview, they were like, what would you be doing if you didn't actually make the NFL roster? You'd be like, I'd be the gym teacher and football coach at my high school. I was like, Division II football sounds about right.
I just remember like, Shepherd, we need him. That mother, you know what? Taysom Hill comes in the game and takes off for 30 yards every time we play them. The whole stadium knows what's coming on. Nobody can stop it. That's what it feels like when he has it going. When he has it going, it's like, man, this guy, what's going on here with it? Jordan, real quick with it. They play the Vikings next week on Sunday against Mr. Dobbs there. We give the Falcons a little trouble, as we just talked about with John, who commented in there. Just real quick, you think the Saints win that game versus the Vikings next week? Or you think the Vikings what do you think? You think the Saints?
I'm on the Vikings bandwagon. Give the Vikings the W. I think
you're my girlfriend's favorite person on this show right now.
I think they're going to get creative. I think they're going to get plays out. I think you're going to see some creativity, some live in-game adjustments. But give me the Vikings, because the Vikings still have a great defense, still have great weapons, still have a decent run game, and above-average offensive line. They're carrying a 2-game momentum swing here. So give me the Vikings for 3 in a row.
All right, real quick here, Monday night update, 20-6. I got Chargers Jets as we kind of get into, as we're kind of moving on to the end of the show here. Josh Skull.
Yeah, it ain't happening. It's not happening, John. It's not happening.
John is begging for it at this point.
The carriage doesn't say a pumpkin past midnight, so
he's not. It's not going to happen. But that's what you're saying at this point. With it 20-6, Chargers Jets. All right, do those next one. Ravens route those. We're talking about Adrian. 4 teams in the AFC North in the playoffs. Jimmy, you mentioned it before you come on. Amazing, John, try it out. Unbelievable there as he's tearing up.
What happened to the Seahawks, man?
They can't win. They get destroyed on the road.
Are they frauds?
Yeah, they were not good. Geno Smith, that's a fraudulent banknote. That was an IOU that you got written for $50, and it was only worth about $25 because he ain't the starting quarterback that's going to put you in the. I'm sorry, I'm speaking the truth right now. I'm not trying to make you. I'm not trying to be your friend. I'm trying to be your mentor, your teacher. I'm not trying to make friends with anybody here.
Try to be your
I think I've made that very clear since I've been on Variety Sports.
Yeah,
It's bad, and it sucks. Here's one thing: Lamar is freakishly good against the NFC. That's all I'm going to put out there.
Yeah,
against the AFC, sometimes it's good and bad. If he was in the NFC, apparently he'd be the best quarterback of all time. But he's done very, very well against the NFC as the quarterback of the Ravens.
John, we all need a little whiskey once in a while. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with a little whiskey once in a while. We all can go there with it. Jimmy, on your point there last with it, I had this little stat with it. Their defense, held teams to 4 points or less, you know what I mean? Less 4 times this year. It's pretty incredible that's actually a stat. That
We're one of them. I know. I
know you are. And so, I don't know. I'm kind of seeing them. I know I had them. I was on with Terrell's show this week. I had them as a team that might go down in the second half. Well, they show up Sunday and probably not Daren. So that's probably not the way that they're going to end up going with that. The Seahawks, though, Jordan, for me, can you show up a little bit on the road, just a little bit against the AFC on the road?
Especially after the trade, they bring in a big defensive tackle. You're thinking, they're going to get some momentum. And, I kind of gave Baltimore the win. I did actually give Baltimore the win in my Sunday pick'ems, but I thought it would be a contest, not just a flat-out beating. I mean, it looked like they were playing against a flag football team.
Playing against the Lions or something.
So sad.
Eminem and the Insane Clown Posse are going to have a talking with you after this show, Daren, and I hope you're ready for that.
They're going to have it usually. They're going to have it usually.
Sweaty is ready. So.
The big one. Raiders, I got to go real quick with it. I'll talk about this for a second. Thank you for letting me enjoy that first half. Let me just thank you. I know it was the Giants. There was nothing to it. Thank you for letting me have a beverage, enjoy the game of football where my team is kicking butt and not having to worry about it. Thank you. I enjoyed that. Giants fans, I'm sorry you had to take it, but I'm really not sorry at the same time. So with that said, Pierce comes in there smoking cigars after the game. Kind of a little ridiculous in some regards, but whatever. I'll take it for what it is. As a Raiders fan, I'll just take the W and a blowout and move on from there.
Jets just threw a pick 6, by the way, that ended the game. So
20 is it 27-6 now after the?
It will be 27-6 because it's going to be hands to the face against
the Jets.
Yeah, it's
the fact that Jets are 4-4 is even crazy to me. Seriously, it is. To me, that's why Saul was even in the head coach. The fact that they're even there with Zach Wilson. All right, our oh yeah segment before we're kind of in the fourth quarter here of the show. Just real quick, Packers, they snap a 4-game skid. They beat the Rams, who are just falling off the rails a little bit. 23. Your boy Jimmy, I say that sarcastically. Mr. Watson gets the 2 touchdowns with a return from the shoulder injury. Browns demolish a team that couldn't even throw for 100 yards. The Cardinals, they lose 27-0. John, you guys will not lose to this team. If you lose to this team, Arthur Smith will be fired on the spot, is my guess. Seriously, if they lose to
Deshaun Watson really appreciates beating up on somebody who can't stand up for themselves. Just gonna. I mean, this is his pattern. This is his pattern. He takes the weaker individual in the situation, and he totally takes advantage of you.
I love how
you thought you were going to that hotel room paid for by the Houston Texans just to give a little physical therapy around, not to be expected to be a dime store hooker.
And I always appreciate about you since the time I've been on with you. We always get a good old Watson story every time we bring him up. That is that is part of it.
The Bill
John, I know
Cosby
you're
of the
concerned. You're
NFL.
winning. You're gonna win, John. You got this. Kyler Murray's back. You'll win. He's playing Call of Duty all week getting ready, right, Jimmy?
Just tell Arthur Smith there's no need for a masseuse this weekend at all.
There is no need for it. That'd be funny if Arthur Smith was playing more Call of Duty to try to hook up with him online. See if he could find out where he's at online. That'd be great if that was part of it. Jordan, we got the Colts. They end up snapping their 3-game skid. They beat the Panthers. Bryce Young. We talked CJ Stroud. Just for a second, Bryce Young, are we a little concerned at all? Or is this just, the team's just not talented enough?
I think the team isn't talented enough. That you look at some of the I'm not a professional myself, but aged veterans, I mean, they brought a lot of guys in that kind of look like for mentoring roles, and it just, I don't know. The team to me was never designed to win now.
Yeah.
You brought in Adam Thielen, you brought in some other kind of aged veterans that have been around. I think they're looking to the future 2 or 3 years. I honestly think that maybe Bryce Young should have held a clipboard like Carson Palmer did under Kitna and had Andy Dalton start this season, but that's just my opinion. Yeah. But he just doesn't look ready, and the team doesn't look like it has enough firepower and enough youth around him right now.
That first pick he threw to Kenny Moore was a rookie. I mean, that was a bad throw. That's like one that's just if in the flat, late, an easy pick. And the fact he had 2 pick sixes in his hometown. Apparently, yeah. Kenny Moore, when they said on the broadcast, he had 6 older sisters. My God, I couldn't even imagine what that would be like. He was the youngest of that. So he had 4 of them at the game. It was funny that he got in. I was like, 6 older sisters. And the guy was like, what did you do growing up? He's like, I spent a lot of time out of the house. Good idea. That was a good idea. If you have 6 older sisters, I can't even imagine with that. So spending a lot of time in the house, we go, hey, we're near the end now here. Jimmy, I love this part of our show. Are we crossing the Falcons off? No, just kidding. Who are we crossing off the list here? Is there a team we're throwing on it now? Is the Giants? We have the Giants. Are the Patriots. We got them on there as well. We got the Broncos. Got the Giants. Got the Bears. The Titans. Are we there with them yet? Are we there with the Titans?
I don't know. I mean, the Titans would be the easy answer. Here's going to be the answer that's probably going to make me enemy number 1 in my household. I think we could probably put the Jets on there. I think it's time. Zach Wilson just got beaten like a redheaded stepchild by it's the Chargers. It's the Chargers. And they were able to take you and dominate you. This should have been a game. If you're looking at the Jets schedule and if you're continuing this pipe dream that Aaron Rodgers is coming back before the end of the season, you're on the ayahuasca trip right now with Aaron Rodgers. This was a game that you should have won because the Chargers love to find ways to give away games. And Zach Wilson couldn't even get the bare minimum out of your guys.
Jimmy nominated the Jets. Jimmy, it's hard for me to say that, though, because they're still 4-4. They're, like, kind of right there. The Bills have 4 losses. It's hard to be, like, really eliminated. I still, I look at the standings.
Is Zach Wilson going to win you 5 more games?
I'm going to be honest with you. There's no chance in hell that's happening. I'm just saying based on the record.
And I don't think Aaron Rodgers is coming back within 5 games. That's my thing.
I think Jordan, I'm not against. He makes a pretty good case there. I mean, what do you think? Should the Jets officially go on? There's only a couple games out. Is there another? The Titans. I feel a little better about the Titans.
I think. I can't do it with the Jets. They still have a loaded defense that just will consistently keep you in games. And if Zach Wilson is the
loaded defense gave up 27 tonight, and the offense mustered a total of 6.
On one of them.
But he's a living embodiment of the good, the bad, the ugly, and we got the ugly tonight, and we got the good against the Chiefs a couple weeks ago where he was absolutely throwing gorgeous dime passes. So I can't count him out in a division that's shaky right now, and a lot of the teams in that division, they're not winning. It's not a winning division. I can't count them out. The Titans kind of had a fire sale, but they look rejuvenated. But if I had to pick, I'd say the Titans are done.
Jimmy, would your brother nominate the Jets? Do you think he would have them on there?
if he's watching this the way that I think he needs to be, yeah. Here's the thing. Listen to me. Everybody should be listening. If you're listening on your computers, I want you to lean in here. Let's lean in. This is what they teach us as educators, okay? Billy Turner is playing right tackle for the New York Jets right now.
Oh, Billy. Oh, Billy.
That's it. That's all. Go ahead with the rest of your day. Number 54, Billy Turner. We are expecting Billy Turner to block Nick and Joey Bosa. Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack right now.
But hey, the question:
Billy.
the Bengals went to the Super Bowl with Isaiah Prince blocking. So how can you say that?
I don't know.
Isaiah Prince.
No, he didn't block.
A 6th rounder that
Gordon,
had no
he didn't
business.
block. Didn't block that year. We just threw it before anybody could kick him off to the curb.
I'm gonna nominate. I think I'm gonna go with the Titans Jets. I feel I can't quite go there with the
Why not a
Titans
twofer?
yet.
¿Por qué no las dos?
I think I'm gonna wait out. I think we have to wait a week. I don't think we're there yet to eliminate either team yet. I think
Garrett
the Titans
Wilson
are
also
very
that
close.
was in both of his hands, but yeah.
I think the Titans are as close as we get to it. We talked about Monday night. We already had that go with it. Game balls, gentlemen. I think it's time there. We're at that point of the show here. We got a game ball for week 9. Jordan, I'll go to you first, and I'll go to my co-host here, Jimmy Pilato. What do you got, Jordan, for game ball? Who showed out in week 9?
CJ Stroud. I mean, unbelievable stats. 5 touchdowns, game-winning drive when it mattered most. Rookie still holding that 1 interception. Yeah, my game ball goes to CJ Stroud this week.
470, yeah, winning touchdown with 46 seconds left on the clock, having Baker Mayfield saying, my God, my career is never going to get off the ground. My God, just sitting there thinking, will this ever happen? Jimmy, you got a week 9 game ball you maybe want to give away? I know you are on the road a little bit here. You got to settle it a little bit tonight. We got the Monday edition. What do you got for game ball?
Mine's totally biased, but I'm going to say I'm not going to give it specifically to this one person because he didn't score, but I just want to give him a shout out. Tanner Hudson was elevated from the practice squad to play tight end for the Bengals this week. Him and Irv Smith Jr., I think combined had about 10 catches. Let the Bengals have get the middle of the field open a lot because nobody wants Jamar Chase to run past them. And the tight ends need to be able to take advantage of that. I'd say the Bengals tight end room gets a game ball this week because they did what they needed to. They allowed for the Bengals to continue to convert, and they're taking advantage of the openings that teams are giving them.
Drew Sample with a gorgeous touchdown catch.
That too, Drew Sample. It's funny because Sample is normally the default last name that you get in Madden, so he's just a default Madden character. That's what Nico likes to call him. Drew and Cam Sample. Oh, this is a generic guy. Here he goes.
It's funny how they have those guys in those video games you remember that are like nothing like that. I got to go the guy. Sorry, John. I mean, my gosh, how can you not go Mr. He was unreal. Like he said, backyard football. He put on it. He got it done.
Yeah.
There was no
he's a legit rocket scientist. He's a legit rocket scientist. He puts things into space. He learns how to launch shit really high up.
Though, Jimmy, for serious, I'm serious. Like I don't know football like you do in terms of you're an offensive lineman, so you probably know what the quarterback has to call on minute level.
It's insane.
It had to help him being a genius a little bit.
Yes, no, it totally did. I mean, he described it as being in Spanish for a semester only to take a French final. He don't really speak the language. So
that'd be nice.
You have to be smart to be able to bullshit like that. Take it from somebody who's a bullshit artist. I almost put a philosophy minor on my degree just because I'm a bullshit artist. You have to be smart to be able to bullshit just a little bit.
It was the running he BS the most. I mean, some of these running plays he got out of. He got out of a sack, got that first down, like I said, and then just you could see it watching the game. Like his teammates were like, I'm not saying he's gonna earn it forever, but at least for like a little bit, like they have his respect. Like there was like some like, my God, man, that'd be a good feeling if you're him, like being a journeyman quarterback to show up in that moment. That's probably got to be the best game of his life. I know he played in playoff game. But like just to have that like kind of like where other players are like, damn, like that's got to be.
You've seen Friday, damn.
Yeah, that's what it was like.
And it saved their season. You look at where they're at record wise.
Yeah, no doubt.
It saved their mentality going forward and saved their season.
No doubt, that's exactly what it was. Before I get to our last part here, the look ahead, make sure you do check out our guys here, John, out of your Falcon Mind. Like we said, they tear it up here on Variety Sports Network, along with our other guys here, our Bears guys, our Raiders guys. We got a lot of different shows going here, but we're obviously the home for your core here of all around the NFL here on Talking the Gridiron. Kind of going a little late extra tonight here, but we're willing to do that when we have guests on, when we have comments coming in. Jordan, really glad that you could stay with us here on Talking the Gridiron. It's been great having you come on the show here. A little double Bengals up, but I enjoyed a little bit here. Brian having some computer issues. Hope he'll get that figured out as we kind of move on through it. But it's great having you join us with it. I love your insight with it as well. Look ahead to Week 10, boys, as we kind of wrap up the show here. This is our primetime games here. Primetime games, and I'll get the show on. I'll get it all up here. Go. We got Panthers Bears on Thursday night. Still will probably get 10 million views somehow. The NFL circus. Sunday night, Jets Raiders. Hello, Jimmy. There we got Jets Raiders. And then Monday night, Broncos Bills a little bit. So kind of some
makes me want to puke and shit my pants at the same time.
Yeah. Is Nico
those primetime matchups suck. If you really want to watch a good game, let's see. I have Week 10 pulled up. The Texans play the Bengals. CJ Stroud's going to see if he can make my life a living hell. Let's see. The Packers and the Steelers, that game's going to suck, but somebody's going to come out on top. Those are all better games than the primetime games that we're having here. The Ravens and the Browns play next week.
That's not bad.
Yes.
That's not bad.
That's the best division in football, and those are two teams that have legit shots at winning the division. Winning the division.
Jordan, the bye weeks, you have three of the top teams having them bye: Chiefs, Dolphins, Eagles. So it's like right away you have it. I got to say, to me, the game that kind of stands out right away, just because of the pressure this team's on as well, John, we enjoyed it as well. Thanks, so we can do it again here soon. Is how about Niners at Jaguars, 10 a.m. start? Niners at Jaguars, off 3-game losses. They have a bye going all the way to Florida, out where Tyler McGurk is out at Disney World right now, trying to watch a game out there. Will he be able to enjoy this in Florida? Watching his team beat the Jaguars. Is that something, or is the Jaguars going to beat his Niners? What's going to happen here, Jordan? What's going on?
I think the Niners get it right. I think you look at the trades, you look at some of the guys, is their left tackle going to play? So far, I'm hearing he will.
Yeah, Williams, yeah.
We'll see if Williams gets back in there. If
we need Samuel too.
That's a big thing. If they get Debo on the outside, kind of change the complexity of how you play them. But defensively, we'll see if the trades were just a flash in the pan, or if it's really going to hammer out to be something and get Joey Bosa some help.
Jimmy, to me, that's the game of the week a little bit. That just feels like it. Because if the Niners lose that one, that just feels like but the Jaguars go 7-2 and they beat the Niners. That's a big win if they win that game.
I don't think that the Jaguars are expecting to win this one, but if they do, then it makes their argument even that much more legitimate. But no, it's tough. It'll be tough to see. I'm surprised to see what 49ers team we get out of the bye week. Because if we get the 49ers team that played against Bengals, I think the Jaguars got a shot. But if it's the 49ers team that we saw through the first 5 weeks of the season where everybody's healthy, if Trent Williams truly does come back and saves Brian's Wi-Fi for the next week and figures out the 49ers offense, then sure. Trent Williams can come back and make that big of an impact. I'm an offensive lineman. I'm never going to shadow an offensive lineman for being that important to a team. But am I really thinking that's the issue? We'll see what I think next Sunday.
That's fair. I think you bring up some real good points with that as well. Just a couple other matchups here that kind of see. I mean, we talked about Texan Bengals actually isn't bad. I'm just saying that's not a bad game at all. You have Stroud absolutely on fire versus Burrow, who's on fire. You guys probably feel like it should be a
kicking our ass.
You feel like it should be.
I gotta be looking at the Baltimore game because out of all, Cleveland has offensive woes, but their defense is still ranked number 1. That, to me, that's a measuring stick of how talented Lamar Jackson is.
That's a good call.
On Baltimore, because he's going to play the toughest defense in the NFL this week. Yeah. To me, that's going to tell the tale of them moving forward to the playoffs.
If they win 37-3 or something like that again, me and you are having a different discussion next week.
If they win 37-3, I don't know.
Nobody's
You're going to be a little
putting up more-
nervous.
Darren, nobody's going to score more than 25 on this Browns team. If you score more than 25 on this Browns team, you're the greatest offense of all time. Congratulations. With it as it is constructed currently, with Myles Garrett dropping his nuts and doing crossovers before every fourth down play or third down play, nobody's putting more than I would even venture to guess nobody's putting more than 20 points on this Browns team. I don't know if it's happened already, but from here on out, this Browns defense is probably not going to give up more than 2 touchdowns and a field goal per game.
High praise from both guys here in the AFC North with it. Last couple of games here, Packers, Steelers for nostalgic fans out there. Saints, Vikings, both 5-4. I know it doesn't really seem like much, but if you honestly think about it, it's going to play a big factor here in the standings moving forward. So I feel like those games also will play a factor. I mean, it's not like, well, you got Dobbs in there, but like I said, at the end of the day, these are the games that play a factor into who's making the playoffs here a little bit as well. So, I mean, it's just the way it is. So I feel like that's it.
The Jets did finally lose. I feel like this is a good point to end because I have a Jets fan in my family. So I texted him. I said, I nominated to add the Jets to the eliminated list. How does that make you feel? I said that to my brother. He just texted me back, not good at all. No fight, no comeback, no whimper, no nothing. Just not good. It doesn't make me feel good.
It
makes me feel bad for making fun of him.
Yeah, I know. I'm with you on that one. It's like you want a better response to make you feel bad for like you kind of giving a little crap about stuff like that. So I hear you on that. I'm with it. As we wrap up talking the gridiron here, I feel like we've touched on it all here, folks, on week 9. We've hit kind of the midpoint here of the season before we get into the playoffs. We got the stand. We'll probably hit a little bit more on the standings a little bit next week. See where we're at with it. Jimmy Pilato, good to have you back on. Jordan, I hope you can be maybe a little fixture here on the show. It's been kind of fun having you on over the weeks. I've been reaching out to my guy Rev. Hopefully he said maybe he can join us a little bit here towards the second part of the season. Great get. I love having Rev on too. So hopefully he can join us here a little bit as well. So Jordan, I do appreciate you taking the time to do it again with us. And I hope we can continue to do this, man, as many weeks as we can through the NFL season.
Yes, sir. And stop by the Sunday morning tailgate. Myself and Doug will be back this week. He had a little bit of an issue. My thoughts and prayers go to the Stevens family. They're going through a lot right now. Here, I'm sure everybody at Variety Sports can get behind that. And we're gonna put a little pep in having a Veterans Day show. It is Veterans Day weekend coming up. We're gonna do a kind of a cool thing, kicking it off this week. So stop by and see us, definitely.
And I've been able to do the basketball show here with Doug for the last 4 weeks. He came on with us at one point last year too, but he's a great guy. I love one thing about with Doug. Like my thing is like if you work your ass off, like I'm a fan. Like that's my thing. Like I'm just if you show that part of me, I'm kind of like in your foxhole a little bit. So I kind of appreciate that part of Doug a lot with that. And I think me and Jimmy mentioned it before, when you jumped on here. Obviously, you were in the Marines. Is that what you said you were? Army? What did you say you were?
I was 10 years Marine Corps. 10 years.
10 Marine Corps. Veterans Day coming up this Saturday. I'd be remiss if I didn't say thank you for your service, man. I really appreciate like everything you've done. I know you guys don't even get enough respect. Like you said, 46-hour plane ride was probably nothing. That was probably easy for what you went through.
They were chewing on leather belts. Marine Corps, they're the dogs that sit out in front of the yard. They never really get allowed into the house, but everybody's glad that they're out in the front of the yard because nobody's messing with you when you see the Marines. I've seen a few videos that explain it and put it in a good context. That's another level. I appreciate that a lot, Jordan.
I appreciate that.
And your smile tells me I believe it. So I tell you, that's where we're at.
He didn't say no. Like you heard that, right? He didn't say no. The dog on the chain in the front yard. There's no no there.
We're the abbreviation is Uncle Sam's Misguided Children. So I
respect that. And like I said, you know your football. Me and Jimmy can tell it. So hopefully you can continue to join us. I know Jimmy doesn't even say that as a fellow Bengals fan. I think he says that as a football fan too. So hopefully we can make that happen. We'll get some other guys here as well. Jimmy Pilato, what you guys got going on this week? I was kind of checking out your short videos this week from state to state. Had a lot going on with your trip. You guys back at this week? Taking a little time off. What do you guys got?
No, we're back at it. I took my other 2 shows off last week, but we had our Halloween special. You should go check that out on YouTube because you get to see. We didn't talk about that before. I showed up as Superman. He showed up as the Joker.
That was
It just goes to show you how long we've been friends and how similarly we think. But that was fun. It's hilarious to watch our NFL analysis of the Broncos winning and the Bengals winning in our full costumes. Looks ridiculous, but it's pretty fun. Yeah, we've been able to get some good short content out of it. So check that out at FEOTB Pod. And then Rev and I are going to get back on. We have to talk about Western lost to Colorado School of Mines. Mines is still number 1, but Western bounced right back. So we got D2 football with Top of the Mountain. And then I'll be finally back on Sunday Scaries. I've been taking a while off. I'll explain as to why. I got some stories to tell, some things to get off my chest. So Sunday Scaries will be back this week at FEOTB Pod. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, all that good stuff.
Jimmy, maybe you can have me back on the summer for that one. I'll have some good story. I mean, my goodness.
The summer is going to be – I'm probably going to try and find a teacher for every episode. I just need to – we got to have something – we got to get this shit off our chest because this is a lot.
I got some with you on that. I was home an hour late because of stuff like that. My gosh. So I got stuff like that with it. So
I hate it. It's bad. I need a new place. You didn't hear that. Douglas County, I love you.
Jordan, I'm sorry I complained about a guy who's on a plane for 46 hours.
Oh,
no.
Have me stop by. We can share some stories.
There we go. We'll go with it.
Did you have a 12-year-old ask you for the 15th time today if you can use the pencil sharpener while you're speaking?
No, I got a 13-year-old upstairs that she hasn't gone to bed yet.
Well, that's pretty impressive. That's 11:28 your time, so I'm impressed with that, sir. That probably hold true to my family here in 3 hours as well. But if we're talking the gridiron here, we'll be back with you next week with it. For Jordan Maxon, who taking the time to be with us the last few weeks, hopefully continue to join with us throughout the year here. For Jimmy Pilato, Far End of the Bench podcast. I'm Darren Breyer, Fat Boy Fadeaway. Special Talking the Gridiron here on Monday night. Till next week. Peace.
Hey, this is Brandon, CEO of the Variety Sports Network. Thank you again for watching tonight's show. Best way you can support us is by hitting that subscribe button, that like button, and hitting the notifications so you don't miss out on the next show right here on the Variety